Welcome, people, back to another Toronto Hoop Talk stream. Today, we got a watch along for Canada versus New Zealand. It's just starting up now. I'm tuning in. I saw Shea Gilgis Alexander at the free throw line. We're in the game at this point, which is different from the last game because against Germany, we were down pretty early. Um, 7-5 right now, 2 minutes into the game. Shout out to everybody in here watching this live. If you're here, make sure you're supporting the content if you enjoy it. If you're watching this on a replay, you're just as valued and you have the same opportunity to help support the content and help it grow. Make sure you're liking the video, commenting to the video, engaging with the content, subscribing to the channel. This is how channels grow on YouTube. Those are the things that help YouTube's algorithm figure that this is the content it should push to YouTube's wider audience. So definitely make sure you're getting to that. Still 7-5, New Zealand on a fast break. They get the dunk to make it 7-7, 7:36 left in the first. But yeah, we have the same starting five. Same starting five from the last game, which is expected. It's interesting because this starting five didn't get to finish the last game. They had to sit on the bench and watch the bench unit make that comeback and play out the last few possessions. So I wonder if the starting five is going to have a little bit of a sense of urgency and some pressure to play well because they did have to sit on the bench to watch the end of the last game. Obviously, the 7-7 start is better than the start against Germany. I left the first game feeling that even though ultimately what happened wasn't good, it wasn't a bad showing given that, again, this team as a unit is playing for the first time together. And then the coach himself is new to the job. So he's in his initial few practices with these guys. So I imagined in a sport like basketball, when you have this much bonding to do and this much cohesion to build, there it is possible just from sheer sloppiness to not play the best. And I expect that to get better as time goes on. So no stress from me. The timeout's wrapping up. Players are getting back on the court. Let me look up New Zealand's roster because I looked up Germany's roster last time, and there were more names that I knew than I expected. I totally forgot who Isaac Bongo was, and then I was made to realize that he's on that team and he plays and he has pink hair. That was definitely a thing. A little bit caught off guard by it, but it happened. SGA step back three, he misses. And I have to refresh the page because it stopped showing the game. This is going to be annoying, isn't it? Okay, it's back. I'm at 7:20. New Zealand's bringing the ball up the court. And my stream went out again. Okay, I'm back. 7-7, 7:17 to go in the first. Nice little pick and roll action by New Zealand. Dwight Powell doing a good job of covering his guy in the post. RJ heading to the rim, going the other way, gets the and one. Strong finish. I've been pleasantly surprised with RJ Barrett in these first two games. I think his NBA game and his international game are pretty different. I think with the international game being less dependent on making threes and less dependent on just generally a less high scoring game, some of the weaknesses that make him not stand out as much in the NBA game aren't that big of a deal. And then also, I think the international basketball is a bit of a smaller game. You don't get the big, long, athletic wing players that you do in the NBA in these games. So he does tend to have a size mismatch against guys guarding him. So I think his game is a little bit better suited to international ball than it is to the NBA. So I've been happy with what I've seen. He's taken his defensive assignments well. New Zealand hit a three on their possession. So it's now 10-10 with 6:40 to go in the first. SGA taking his man to the rim. Misses the look at the basket, but he gets the foul. I'd be good to see him get going. SGA didn't have the best of starts with that game against Germany, but that happens. It's not that he was out there not getting looks. The shot wasn't falling. Made both his free throws. So it's 12-10. RJ Barrett picking up the point guard at the halfway line. That's something he did in the last game as well. So you're seeing that Jordi Fernandez definitely looks at RJ Barrett's size as an advantageous thing for guarding point guards. Obviously, if you can disrupt the other team's initiator of offense early in the possession, that can throw other teams off as they try to get into their sets. You saw SGA have that role at some points, but I think for most of the game, that was RJ. New Zealand hits a three. Dylan Brooks' man went around a screen, got a little bit of space, and made the three. SGA going to the basket, draws the second defender, finds Dwight Powell at the basket in the dunker spot. SGA forces a steal. Olynyk gets the ball, but the outlet pass gets tipped. Ball bounces around before SGA finally gets it. Him and Dwight Powell were not on the same page underneath the basket there. So the fast break possession stalled out. SGA in the half court. Nice little drive and kind of a sidestep jumper from like maybe 6 or 7 feet away. And that triggers a timeout from New Zealand. So the Raptors. I'm doing this again. I'm doing that thing again where I say the Raptors when I'm talking about Canada. Gonna have to get used to this. But Canada's up 3, I believe, going into the timeout. Good start from SGA. That's something I wanted to see. Steady start from the rest of Canada as a whole. I was gonna look at New Zealand's basketball team, see if there's somebody here that I recognize. Okay, so all of this team, almost all of it, plays actually in New Zealand's basketball league, and then one guy plays in Turkey and one guy plays in Italy. So yeah, this quality of this team is probably less than Germany. That being said, Canada's still doing okay. It's a tie game right now. SGA's had a bright start. Everyone else has been steady. I see players warming up. So Nikhil Alexander Walker and Lou Dort are seeming to have got their their bench gear off. They're ready to check in at the next stoppage. RJ Barrett goes to the rim, misses the look at the rim. Dwight Powell can't get the offensive rebound. New Zealand going the other way. Pull up from 3, they miss. Dylan Brooks with the rebound. SGA bringing the ball up the court. Kick out to Olynyk from 3, and he misses it. Olynyk's a player that I think has potential for what his game would look like in international ball. I don't think I've seen it yet in terms of like what I envision him being able to do in terms of impacting games. But with time, again, we have 5 friendlies for a reason. The team needs to tune up. Olynyk now bringing the ball up the court. Had to spin around a defender. Had to get in his bag of tricks. What? Okay, my stream just cut ahead. 4:17 left in the first. 16-16. Oh no, it reversed. I've seen this before. Dribble handoff with RJ. RJ pulls up with a little floater. 18-16 people. 3:50 to go. SGA gets the steal. Oh, what a and one. What a shot there. That's a sequence entirely created by SGA, getting the steal at the point of attack while guarding the point guard and then taking the ball all the way down the court himself. And the really tough finish. Almost making the shot while being like horizontal to the ground. Yeah, he's cooking. He's cooking early. 10 points, 2 steals in the first just over 6 minutes. 3 for 4 from the field. So you're seeing the shot making, you're seeing the defense, you're seeing all facets of his game. I remember hearing somebody having a little discussion about what the best defensive lineup could be for Canada when it's time to, if you need a stop at the end of the game, last couple minutes of the game, you're up 6 or 7 and you just need to get stops. What does your lineup look like? And the reality is with SGA's capability as a point of attack defender and as somebody who can succeed with ball pressure, you can put him in those lineups where you need a stop. And when your best offensive talent is capable of doing that, you're in a good place as a team. It makes you tactically versatile. You don't have to necessarily sacrifice things to emphasize other things. And that just goes a long way to showing SGA's value as a player. So Lou Dort, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and 25. I gotta look 25 up again. There are a couple guys on this team that, despite seeing their names over and over again, I'm still not familiar with. RJ takes the ball to the basket. They update the score late. I looked down. He did make the basket, I believe. Yes, he did. 23-16. So Canada's opening up a bit of a lead now. Step back 3 from New Zealand. Misses the shot. Nickeil Alexander doing a great job. Oh, wow. He did a great job of tipping the rebound kind of into the other side of the court to start the fast break. Dwight Powell is the one who had the free layup as a result, and he just missed an easy layup. He looked really stiff and awkward, like he doesn't find himself in those positions often. And just looked a little uncomfortable. Missed the layup. Nickeil Alexander-Walker just pushed a shot underneath the rim, couldn't get it to fall. This doesn't have numbers. I'll also try to see if I can find a box score for this game, because that's what I was looking for with the game against Germany, but I couldn't find one. And yeah, it's just you get a little bit used to having box scores and being able to see these things live during games. Keep a pulse on offensive rebounds, keep a pulse on turnovers, efficiency, stuff like that. But these international friendlies, it's a different world. Kick out to the corner. Nickeil Alexander-Walker hits the corner 3. So Nickeil Alexander-Walker, for those who didn't watch the first game against Germany, he closed out the game. It was him and Lou Dort that were the guards to finish the game against Germany. They were a part of the unit that led the comeback, and they were the key part of the unit. Lou Dort and Nickeil Alexander-Walker did really well. So I left that game being really impressed with Nikhil Alexander-Walker, and Kenyon, one of the guys that's on the channel who was in the chat for that game, was talking about how, yeah, just FIBA Nikhil Alexander-Walker is different. And honestly, from what I saw that game, from his like good start here, definitely, I'm at a point where I feel like I can rely on him more than I thought I would. I know what I'm getting with him off the bench, and I'm definitely excited that we have that. Like we have, I don't think we're at a point with the team where we have a lack of scoring, but with all the guys who could be playing that aren't, to still have a guy like Nikhil Alexander Walker, that's really good. Still looking for this the post with the numbers. Totally forget who 25 is. I think it's one of the guys with the double last name. I believe. I believe so. Anyways, Canada up 5, 26-21. 1 minute to go in the first. Definitely a better first quarter than the first quarter against Germany. 25 takes it to the basket. Nice little easy layup. Yeah, that is Bell Haynes. I believe his name is Trey Bell Haynes. Getting early minutes in this game, to be fair. He's getting a pretty good opportunity here to show what he can do. Melvin Edgem is now on the court as well. So I think this is a complete unit that's all bench players. Kyle Alexander is the big. I guess technically with a lineup like this, you would say Lou Dort is the four, I think. But this is, yeah, this is a very small lineup. A very small lineup. I do think for what it's worth that playing small is something that the team should be used to or should get used to, and that should be an established thing with this unit because I think we have the personnel to have really good small lineups, especially as we get more guys. Um, we're not really built to play big, so I think guys should definitely get used to those kind of dynamics on a court because long term we'll probably be finding our best lineups be small lineups, and if we can again just get used to coping with the downside of playing small, that's something we'll benefit from long term as a team. So New Zealand just missed a shot. I think they're going to get the ball back because the ball went off Bell Haynes. 5.9 seconds left in the first. 28-21 Canada. The bench unit is in. They passed it to Lou Dortz, man. That's not a good idea. Well, I mean, he was strapped up and the second defender came there, but he made the three anyways. So it's 28-24. Canada's up 4 after the first. Obviously, low level of competition against New Zealand, a team that is primarily composed of players that play in the New Zealand league. For those who don't remember, I believe LaMelo Ball went to the league in New Zealand to play instead of doing college ball, and bought one of the teams there after making it to the NBA. So yeah, it's that. Whoa, it's one of those kind of leagues. Canada's obviously faring better than they fared against Germany as a whole. Good to see SGA have a hot start. You want to see more from, I guess you could say you want to see more from Dylan Brooks, but at the same time, it's not like you want him to just have the ball in his hands, ISOing and really aggressively hunting for his shot. But the ball hasn't really found him in the rhythm of the offense. Dwight Powell, I feel like the ball has found him a little bit more, but even Olynyk and Brooks, the ball isn't really finding them. Most of our action comes from SGA, Barrett, and Dwight Powell. The bench unit is in now. Oh, they're showing ads. They're showing ads for the tournament. There's a lot of hoopers in this tournament. Obviously, you see the Team USA team and all the guys that aren't there, and like the caliber of guys that are there. And sometimes you kind of don't register just how many ballers there are in this tournament, just because the US isn't putting their best team out there. Every other nation is. And as the landscape of basketball changes, that's a big thing, because that's where a lot of talent is. Other countries outside of the US, that's where a ton of talent is now. So it's cool. It's cool. There's going to be a lot of good players in this tournament. If Canada goes far, they're probably going to get tested by some of the best talent in the world. You run into a Slovenia, you run into a Greece, you run into some of these other teams, you run into a Serbia. You're going to run up against top talents. You're going to be tested. And we're going to see what you're built of. So Melvin Ejim is going to get the ball to start the second with the inbounds pass. They inbound from half court to start quarters, which is interesting. Definitely an interesting change. So they're starting the second quarter with the same bench lineup that closed the first. Kyle Alexander is the big, and then effectively 4 guards, I think. Yeah, I think they're all classed as guards, with Bell Haynes, Melvin Ejim, Lou Dort, and Nikhil Alexander-Walker. They're checking something. A couple of just like regular looking dudes are at kind of where like the game officials are. I think there's an issue with the clock. The clock shows zeros. So it looks like they're trying to fix that before the game starts up. Both teams' players are on the court, kind of just talking things through. But yeah, people, looks like the players are going back to their benches to chill out a little bit while they figure this game out, or they figure this clock out, so we can get back to the game while you guys are here. Shout out to everybody watching live. Don't be scared to get involved in the chat. Love to hear what you guys have to say. Obviously, these are interactive watch-alongs, interactive live streams. It's also always awesome when the chat is putting things in there that I can bounce off of. Don't be shy. Make sure you're liking the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. These are all pretty important forms of engagement that help channels grow. So if you like what's going on here, if you enjoy what's going on here, if you want this more often, make sure you're engaging with the content. You're liking, subscribing, commenting. These are things that are going to make this channel bigger. That is very much something that's in your control. The camera is still on the players, so have no indication of whether this problem has been fixed or is close to being fixed. I see Lou Dort practicing his jumper. Still have to find this roster. I'm curious as to who is out of this regular 10-man rotation, because that effectively is what it is. I think there's only 13 players active. Yeah, I think there's only 13 players active. So there's 3 players that are active who have jersey numbers that aren't playing. So let's see who those are. So I got it. So Kenny Cherry, Kenny Cherry and the Scrubs. So the Scrubs played in the last game. So they got run. So the only guy who hasn't played is Kenny Cherry, who honestly I don't know who is. I'll have to look him up. Kenny Cherry. Okay, so he plays in Turkey. Cool. From Montreal. I mean, why not give him some run at some point? If this game gets lopsided, why not? But yeah, so we have seen the bulk of the players that we know play pretty good minutes now, having played 5 quarters of basketball. Obviously, there's other guys that I'd like to see at some point who aren't a part of the team that's playing right now. So I'd love to see Jamal Murray. I'd love to see Andrew Wiggins. I'm not even entirely sure what the issue is between Wiggins and Canada and why he's not a part of these teams that often. But I'd love to see him on the team. Obviously, Shaden Sharp, Ben Matherin. Those are guys I'm going to have to see at some point. There's a lot of talent on our squad. We have a bunch of guys that we left out entirely that could, if they formed their own nation, be a pretty decent team. So yeah, it's a new world here as a Canadian basketball fan. It's a completely new world. We have a lot of talent. But yeah, man, shout out to everybody watching live. Thank you for being here. For the people watching on the replay, you're just as appreciated and valued. Make sure you guys get your comments in the chat. I'd love to hear from you guys. Love to hear what you guys have to say. We have a weird, awkward breakage in time, breakage in play here, where the game is not being played because the clock isn't working. So, you guys want to just throw some questions in the chat, throw some opinions in the chat. We can get some discussions going to kill time, because it does not look like they are ready to play basketball. The way Canada's players are just standing around, it looks like doesn't really it's not really close, or it looks like the clock still is having issues. They're finally now showing the people that are trying to fix the issue, and they look kind of confused. So I don't know when we're going to get back to actually playing basketball. Is that a backup clock? Yeah, so they have a backup clock now. They have a little board that they're gonna have beside the court with the time on it. That's good. Hopefully, we can get things started. It's tough to do a watch along when there's quite literally nothing to watch along, especially when there's generally players on the court that I'm not even that familiar with, like this lineup right now that Canada has out. I know Lou Dort and Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Everybody else are players that I'm getting familiar with because they don't play in the NBA. Obviously, the New Zealand team is full of players I'm not familiar with because they play in New Zealand primarily professionally. So between me not knowing a lot of these players necessarily, and the fact that there's no basketball being played right now because the clock isn't working, not a whole lot for me to talk about. But with that being said, guys, there's going to be watch alongs for every Canadian friendly game. There's going to be watch alongs for every Canadian team or every Canadian game in the tournament itself. So make sure you guys stay tuned in. We're gonna get through this tournament together as a family. They're showing a mascot entertaining the crowd now. They could have kept the camera on him. I would have had something to be amused about. It does look like the camera is the clock is working again now. The players are getting some warm-up jumpers up, getting a little bit loose again, and I think the game will continue shortly. They're panning to fans in the crowd now. They're entertaining me, entertaining the audience watching on TV the way they would entertain people during commercial breaks at the game. They're just showing random people in the crowd. All right, it looks like we're back, people. It looks like we're back. The warm-up jumpers have ended. Serious jumpers only now. Yep, Lou Dort is lining up to inbound the ball. That's a random thing to happen. I know Edgem was there to inbound the ball initially, and then the game could never start because of the clock issue. Now Lou Dort is inbounding it. So I guess there's no Oh, wow. There's no strict play to start the quarter. But how they did start the quarter is he inbounded the ball to Bell Haynes, who just failed to catch the ball. The ball went through his hands, off his body, right out of bounds. That's just about as sloppy of a start to the second you could have. Definitely indicative of people who have just been standing around for like the last 5 minutes or so. I believe that is not a foul call. Yeah, it's not. Lou Dort knocks the ball out of bounds while his man was driving to the basket. New Zealand, they missed their shot, get the offensive rebound, kick it around the 3-point line. Oh, good play. Good play by New Zealand. Guy was double teamed. Looked like he was trapped a little bit. Found the right pass. Created a good look. Lou Dort going the other way, up the court. Strong take to the basket, drew the foul. He's insisting that he was going up on that look. He's insisting that that was him trying to score, and they've granted his wish. He's shooting free throws now. So Canada has a 2-point lead. And Lou Dort has a chance to make it a 4-point lead. Makes the first, makes the second. So Canada is 9 for 9 from the free throw line. They're perfect. That's always good to see. If you're a Raptors fan, missed free throws is something that definitely had a pretty big significance for you last year. I was mentioning during the last watch long that the rate at which Canada was making threes, which wasn't even particularly high, it was just standard, was nice to see as somebody who watched as much Raptors basketball as I did last year. Aggressive outlet pass. Lou Dort was running up the court in transition, but there was like two guys right beside him. Somebody tried to thread the needle into that area with a real aggressive pass, but tipped away. And they're giving New Zealand the ball as well. So wasted transition possession. What are they reviewing here? Oh, they're reviewing who the ball went off of. All right. Oh, that is off New Zealand. Yeah, that should be Canada ball. So Canada will have the ball up 4 with a chance to extend the lead. Wait, they gave the ball to New Zealand? Eh? Yeah, they did. Whatever. Okay, really high press from Canada, full court press. Bell Haynes is pressing the point guard or pressuring the point guard. He's doing a lot worse of a job than SGA and Barrett have done in the games that I've watched so far. But nonetheless, New Zealand misses their shot on that possession. Bell Haynes going around to Kyle Alexander's screen, kicking it to Lou Dort, misses the 3. Rebound by Kyle Alexander. Lou Dort relocates, gets the ball, and makes the corner 3. Good play from Lou Dort. Lou Dort, definitely one of the players that is playing better than I would have expected. He's doing awesome. He's also he's much more aggressive in hunting his shot than I would have expected. I've seen some of his shooting numbers, and he is not playing like a guy with those shooting numbers. Bell Haynes draws the foul. I don't think they'll say he was shooting the ball there, so we'll get the ball back. We're getting to that point where I think the starters should be checking back in the game at some point. Actually, no, I lied. There's 8:13 left in this quarter. That is not as late into the quarter as I thought it was. I think the delay when in the game with the break for the clock issues kind of distorted my idea of the passage of time. But Lou Dort with another aggressive take to the basket that results in free throws. He got fouled there, so he'll go to the line with a chance to continue Canada's perfect percentage from the free throw line. Lou Dort, 5 points, 2 for 2 so far in this game from the free throw line. Makes that shot 3 for 3. So yeah, with him, I think a part of what I like about his game in his role is how simple and like defined it is. It's like for him, he's like, I'm either shooting a three or I'm aggressively going to the basket. I'm not doing anything else. No other funny business. We're passing the ball. If those two things can't happen, it's very simple, but it's very effective. Obviously, against this level of competition is an opportunity for guys to put in their best performances and the performances you may not see against higher levels of competition, but nonetheless, it is still good to see it. So Canada, I think, came out in the second, pressuring the ball really high. Definitely, they came out this quarter doing a full court press. And I think New Zealand is now doing the same. So you're seeing the teams getting aggressive here in the second. Pick and roll by New Zealand. Nickeil Alexander-Walker got caught up as the help defender on the rolling big. I'll be real. I think he fouled the big who made the shot. That probably should be an and one, but it's not. It's just a make by New Zealand, and Canada gets the ball going the other way. Seven-point lead, people. 7:30 to go in the second. Nickeil Alexander-Walker going around the screen, finds Lou Dort in the corner, who takes the three and misses it. Canada gets the offensive rebound, and Nickeil Alexander-Walker was fouled there. So I think he's going to the free throw line. Kyle Alexander is definitely holding his own as a big. Obviously not doing anything like out of this world, but a solid player. He doesn't have to be doing flashy things to be effective. He's going to rebound. He's going to contest shots when he's in position. And just as I say that, sets the screen, rolls, and catches a lob from Nickeil Alexander-Walker for the alley-oop. But yeah, just again, like another player with a really defined role who's excelling within the role. And that's definitely found money there. It's definitely found money. I know the bigs for Canada is the concern for a lot of people, and kind of whether we have the right roles, because our bigs are NBA role players, which is a high level to be a role player at. But the question is do they have the right skill set for the role that we need them to have? I think Kyle Alexander is a player that fulfills a role that I don't think Dwight Powell or Kelly Olynyk do. And that's good because it gives us some diversity in the front court and the ability to do some different things. So Canada starters have checked in again. I see SGA. I see Dylan Brooks. I see Olynyk. Edgem and Nickeil Alexander-Walker are still the bench players that are with this lineup. So they're playing in the place of RJ and Dwight Powell, I believe. So that is a smaller look. Kelly Olynyk makes the three on the kick out, the driving kick. A steal forced by SGA, another steal forced. He leaked out after forcing the steal, so the outlet pass found him wide open and basically in a position to make a dunk, so he did. Unreal start by SGA so far in this game. Just dominating the game on both ends. 3 steals in maybe like 7 minutes of play, maybe 8 minutes of play. 3 steals, 13 points. Hasn't missed from the free throw line. I think has missed once from the field. Canada up 41-28, 13-point lead. Dylan Brooks with the ball going around the screen. Pick and pop to Olynyk. Olynyk picks up his dribble. Back to Dylan Brooks. Aggressive take to the basket, and he makes it at the rim, extending Canada's lead to 13 again, 43-30. So that's Dylan Brooks' first basket of this game, but it's only his second shot attempt, which lines up with what I was saying earlier in terms of he's not really getting the ball in the flow of things, which I guess is fine because I don't want him to force it. If it's not finding him, it's fine if he just kind of sits back and lets things happen on their own. But yeah, good to see him make his first basket. So the rest of the starters are checking in now. RJ's checking in, Dwight Powell's checking in. So I'm assuming the starting lineup will close out the second quarter, the last 5 minutes of this quarter, and take us to halftime. So if they can build on what the bench did and extend the lead prior to that point, we'll have probably at least a 15-point lead going into halftime, which is a good situation to find yourself in after the last game where we were down 16 at halftime against Germany. So it looks like Kelly Olynyk is going to shoot free throws when we're back, but somebody took a timeout. The players are rushing off the court. The cheerleaders are rushing on the court. So we have a little break, people. While we're breaking, feel free to get your comments in the chat. We can talk anything related to the FIBA tournament, Canada, the Raptors, the NBA. If you guys have any questions, anything you want to bring up to talk about, feel free to put it in the chat. Major shout out to everybody watching right now. Make sure you've liked the video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Lots of FIBA watch-alongs coming with Team Canada. Obviously, lots of Raptors content coming once that ramps up a little bit. Yeah, of course, like I always say, you have the ability to help the channel grow by engaging with it. So make sure you do that if you enjoy what's happening, people. They got some stats for me now. Canada is 63% from the field, much better than New Zealand's 32%. It's a pretty huge discrepancy. Canada's 15 for 24 from the field. Out rebounding New Zealand 14-9, with less turnovers than New Zealand as well. So yeah, all around a very solid first half. I think a pretty big tone setter was SGA's hot start. When your best player comes out like that, when he comes out firing in the first quarter, making shots, not missing, getting steals on both ends, aggressively playing basketball, it's a tone setter. It changes things for everybody. The energy is just different. When he starts out hot and you guys are up, it's way different than when you guys are down like 10 to Germany early. But yeah, we're back, people. Kelly Olynyk shooting free throws, misses Canada's first free throw. Come on, Kelly. You messed it up, man. We had a chance to have a perfect free throw game. Everybody was making their free throws. And he makes the second. Extends the lead to 15. So it's a 15-point lead with 5 minutes to go in the second. The starters are finally now checked in. Dylan Brooks forces a steal. RJ going the other way. Aggressive take to the basket, but good active hands by the defender, who at the very last minute poked the ball out of RJ's hands as he went up for a layup. They're saying it was off the New Zealand guy and it's Canada ball. Definitely should be New Zealand ball. Definitely went off of RJ, but we'll take it. Oh no, they called a foul. Oh, I'll take that. I thought he got the ball, but I'll take it. RJ at the free throw line. Chance to make it a 17-point lead. RJ makes the first free throw. And RJ makes his second free throw, 47-30. Ooh, bad pass by New Zealand. He tried to make that pass fancier than it needed to be. The other guy was not expecting it, and it goes out of bounds. Yikes. That could have been a foul on New Zealand, but it's not. SGA in the middle of the zone. Looks like New Zealand was playing a 2-3 zone on that possession, and they put SGA in the middle. And it's hard to think of a better player to throw in the middle of a zone like that. Somebody who can either make that a shot from that area or find the open man. It's a phenomenal option to have. SGA gets right to the basket, past his man into the basket. He is cooking. People, he is cooking. We're talking about all pro caliber NBA player against New Zealand players. Like, it's not an insult to people or anything to just say that he's head and shoulders above everybody else on this basketball court, and it's good to see. It's good to experience this as a basketball fan. Um, I have a lot of Team Canada basketball experiences as a viewer where we're on the other end of this. So to watch a guy just dominate like this, it feels great. Feels great. Full court press by New Zealand. We get past it fairly easily. RJ right to the basket. An easy make at the rim. When you full court press like that and you don't get home, when you full court press like that and nothing happens, yeah, it's not good. It's not good, people. Another steal by SGA, gets all the way down the court in transition. It was a 2-on-0 fast break. Dillon Brooks got lucky. He gave the ball to Dillon Brooks. Let him get a dunk. Let him get his stats up. Canada's up 22 now. 21. 55-34. As expected, the starting lineup has come in, and they've really, really done well. Canada with another basket, 23 point lead right now. The work that the bench did, the starters came in and really, really built on it quickly. Extended about like a 14-point lead to a 23-point lead in a matter of a couple minutes. I think this is a good kind of a team to be playing right now. We played Germany first. I think upon further review, we should have played New Zealand first and then Germany second. Germany is a team that does have some NBA talent. They are a team that I think their program is a little bit more developed, being that they've had, established talent for a little bit longer than New Zealand has, or established talent at all. But yeah, New Zealand, this is a really good tune-up game. Like, you can just see that we're a much better team. It's a good opportunity for guys to get into a rhythm, just get a feel for each other. I think when we played Germany, we kind of just got thrown into it against a team that we are still better than, but they do have good talent, and they've probably been playing together for a long time, and we haven't. SGA gets right to the basket with ease and makes one of the most casual looking layups I've ever seen. Effortless. He has 17 points, only one miss from the field. Oh, I lied. It wasn't even a layup. It was a dunk. But it was like that casual. It was that casual. 17 points, 4 steals, 2 misses from the field. I lied. So yeah, with the lead being like this, we'll see how much the starters play in the second. We'll see. I don't know. I think in the second half, I'll watch for as long as the starters play. If the starters get pulled because it's a blowout, I'll probably just call a watch along. It's a Saturday morning. It's relatively early. People probably want to sleep in. I don't know if people are going to be too eager to watch the Canadian backups against New Zealand, but I will definitely follow it as long as we have the starters. So Nickeil Alexander-Walker is checked in now. He's our 6th man. Lou Dort's checked in. SGA's on the court. So we got the cousins. Barrett and Dwight Powell checked out. So this is another instance of Canada pulling Dwight Powell off the court in favor of a smaller player, in favor of a guard, I think. Yeah, a guard. So Canada testing out a small lineup again. Oh, never mind. Dwight Powell's on the court. Wait, who checked out then? Oh, Dylan Brooks. It was Dylan Brooks and RJ that checked out. Oh, okay. But yeah, we got another mixed lineup between the starters and the bench players. But yeah, we do have the Cousins on the court now for the first time. I think. I don't think this lineup got played against Germany. Got Nikhil Alexander Walker and SGA, the double last name Cousins. And there's a timeout by somebody. A 23-point lead, people. 23-point lead. Few minutes left in the second. Awesome second quarter from Canada. Really put their foot on the gas. Really showed out. I can imagine that a lot of the second half is going to involve the bench players and guys that haven't got the bulk of the minutes. But yeah, the players are checking in. Timeout is over. We'll see if the lineup got changed much. I don't think it will. So we'll have SGA finishing out the second. Have a chance to get this up into the high 20s. High 20s. Go to the lead. Go to halftime with almost a 30-point lead. Sloppy play out of the timeout. It was a pick and roll where Dwight Powell, the roll man, wasn't actually open, but the pass was forced into him by SGA, and the turnover ensued. But then a turnover happened on the other end. SGA down the court, step back three, hits the shot. 26-point lead. Just easy looking, just casual. Nice little step back. International rules three. Another turnover. SGA going the other way. Finds Nikhil Alexander Walker in transition. Like I said, lead already in the high 20s. 28-point lead. Another turnover forced. This time by Lou Dort. Got in the way of outlet pass. Goes the other way. This will be the last possession. 10 seconds to go. Olynyk with the ball, up 28. Olynyk, SGA setting a screen for Olynyk, who gets the foul with 1.5 to go. That was a 5-1 pick and roll. And New Zealand had to foul it to stop it, and that is free throws. So Olynyk will shoot free throws to make it a 30-point lead with 1.5 seconds to go in the second. He misses the first free throw. Makes the second one, so it's a 29-point lead. New Zealand will just throw. Oh my God, that was not close. That looked like more of a pass than a shot. But yes, people, 29-point lead at halftime. I'm gonna call the watch along at this point, mainly just because I don't think the Canadian team is gonna play much of the starters from this point onwards. Obviously, it's an early stream, so maybe not the most active stream. People got a lot of things to do on a Saturday morning, mainly sleeping. So with the fact that we're playing New Zealand, with the fact that it's such a lopsided game, with the fact that we're going to see a lot of bench players, I am going to call the watch along right now. So if you're just tuning in, you can go back and watch the watch along on replay. I got the most important part of the game down. I got the part of the game where the team built the lead up. Guys look good. SGA looked phenomenal. Dylan Brooks did his role. RJ Barrett looked good. Dwight Powell did his role. Olynyk did his role. Nikhil Alexander Walker and Lou Dort looking like amazing guards off the bench. Really happy with what I've seen. Obviously, you got to keep in mind New Zealand is the level of competition, but we still did well nonetheless, people. Whether you're watching live or you're watching on replay, make sure you like, share, subscribe, engage with the content. The more you engage with the content, the bigger the channel gets, the more content I can give you guys. So if you guys enjoy what's going on, make sure you guys support it. More watch alongs, people. Anytime Canada's playing, I will probably be doing a watch along. There might be some early starts, but I will do my best to be here. I'll catch you guys around. And yeah, peace, people. Peace.